Hi everyone, so this is another Renee Responds video to excuse me, Priscilla's Let's Talk discussion video on hyped books, and it was a topic suggested by Meaghan from Meaghan the Book Addict, so thank you. And Priscilla did her response and Meaghan actually did her own as well, so I'll link those both in the doobly-doo in my pants because they're fantastic. And much better than mine because I'm making no sense today because my brain is retired. Is permanently retired. Anyway, so question number 1. How do you feel about hyped books? Now, Priscilla was very diplomatic and fair and just in her response to this, saying that essentially you should not be able to find fault with hyped books because as book lovers and being within the book community and liking discussion and reviewing and just plain old talking about books, getting passionate and communicative about books that we love and that we're interested in is a very, very good thing. And this is very true. What I tend to find though is that hyped books, especially hyped books, not only by word of mouth within the readers and the reading community, but also books that are hyped from the publicity side of things, so from the publishers, from the stores they're featured in, on websites and stuff. They tend to always be very similar titles a lot of the time, so you can kind of predict what kind of books are going to be talked about every single month. Also, it's only ever a select few, so many great titles get ignored all the time. And yeah, it's just these ones are getting shoved in your face all the time. So book hype tends to be very selective, often quite predictable, and in that aspect I can get very irritated and pissed off by it. But that's just because I'm cynical and bitter and strange. Question number 2. Does book hype affect your book buying? It used to a lot, and I kind of learnt my lesson from that. For example, you all know I tried to get into John Marston's The Tomorrow series in Australia here, and that didn't go too well. So yeah, that was one instance. I put off getting into the Harry Potter hype, but of course that turned out well because it's Harry. Yeah, some things just haven't ended up as well as I thought they would. For example, I enjoy the Mortal Instruments series, but I don't think it's fantastic, and there are elements about it that tend to shit me, and I don't think are that well done. So, that's one instance. I kind of came into the Iron Fae series off my own bat, which was good. That was before I really heard anything about it. But since then, the hype that surrounded that series has kind of mystified me as well, because I enjoy elements, but I don't really think it's fantastic. So, I would rather seek out titles that I just have an interest in anyway, as opposed to hearing it from everybody else and kind of feeling the effect of this public adoration for something. If it's a title that I already have an interest in, and it's like a previously established interest and like intent on buying something that is getting a lot of hype, then it doesn't matter anyway. I was going to buy it, so regardless of all the hoopla around it. But if it's something I'm hearing about it from everybody else, and I think, oh, I might read that, I would much rather play it safe and save my money and go to the library if I can, which isn't always an option here because my library doesn't have much, but I would rather do that than go out and fork over money on something that I'm taking quite a risk on, and that, given my history, there's a good chance I may not like it because I seem to be the contrary person. So I try not to let book hype affect my buying too much. Question number 3. Does book hype cause disappointment? For me, it certainly can. More so, it can cause a lot of irritation because I, even before purchasing a book and reading it and finding that I don't like it, just the hype itself can really irritate me a lot of the time, because it's like the same with anything. If it's overbearing and excessive and you feel like you're getting saturated in this, hearing about the same titles all the time, it's great to see everyone get so excited and passionate and that you're all sharing this love for something, and that's wonderful. But sometimes I'm just very mystified, and if the premise doesn't sound interesting to me, or I already have made judgments about it and I think, well, I'm not going to like that book, if I keep hearing about it, I'm just kind of like, oh, everybody be quiet. I'm the Grinch of the book community, I think. I mean, recently, even though I won't deny, I do have the intent of one day buying Anna and the French Kiss. I still have been sitting back thinking, why is everyone talking about it? Everyone loves it. How can that be? Yeah, I'm sort of in awe at the love that book is getting of late, but, you know, I mean, hopefully when I eventually come to read it, I too will like it. We'll see. But more often than not, book hype that results in my buying books and not liking them just leaves me feeling very isolated and quite lonely. And then, of course, because I take everything too seriously, it results in some very depressing self-reflection and questioning of me, thinking, what's wrong with me? Why am I different? Why am I the one who has to stand outside? You know, why can't I agree with everybody else? And it's not about wanting to conform, because, you know, everyone having the same opinion would make book discussion no fun at all, but it's more so just that you know, it leads me to continually question myself, and that's not fun. So I tend to associate book hype with that. So book hype equals sadness in my head, therefore I try and bypass it if I can. Question number 4, could too much book hype be a bad thing? Yes, for me personally, that's just for me. And also I think it's just again, it's the question of pushing forward certain titles to the ignorance and neglect of others. So I would much rather, you know that everybody would still go into a bookstore and like actively seek out titles for themselves and, you know, just explore everything that's on offer there, as opposed to what's only in the, you know, the display section and stuff that has the posters and the stuff that's recommended and new release and all that sort of thing. I'd rather know that people are still willing to go and seek out other things rather than just what's popular at the time. Because, yeah, it's a segregation thing in book selling, I guess. So that just makes me a little upset. But, you know, I'm the Grinch, as I said, so I haven't made any sense, and I'm going to shut up because I'm talking too long again. But thank you to Meaghan for this very interesting discussion topic, and to Priscilla for your video response, and I'll see everybody later. Goodbye!